Good afternoon. How are you? Well, it's kind of a scorcher today. The temperature is 90 degrees according to Thomas Jefferson. The humidity is 59, a little better, but you can feel it. It's only a quote, not so dry heat. And the wind is at 2.2 miles an hour, entirely without any effect on me. I don't feel it at all. We have a situation in which people are still acting as if the laws and order that define this nation for most of its existence until at least 2015. And so when Trump does something that's lawless, not rigorous, is a lie, observers revert to how things work if they're working right and full and fair. So, for example, I heard a colleague whom I have a lot of respect for said, "Oh, you don't normally release an investigative file." And this is an excellent example of how we act as if we should follow a rule that its core is being violated by the Injustice Department. So we have all the reason in the world to believe that this file of Epstein or collection of data or things in various media have been corrupted, perhaps have been diminished, meaning destroyed, hidden, concealed. And still, with all of this goings on, it is withheld from the public, despite what, depending on the day, appears to be a bipartisan call that these files be released. Now, this is one of those political examples in which the garbage probably ends up on both sides of the aisle. But America, we the people, we deserve to know this. So should we be respecting these files as if tenderly treated and properly treated by the FBI, consider who they are, or the Attorney General, consider who she is? And should we instead, if we want to vet the files in the various media as they now remain, we the people should vet the file. In other words, it should be released, because we can't trust anybody in the Justice Department. Remember, we had the FBI looking over this material in an intensive search for what? What were they looking for? And were they looking for things or destroying them? And then they have people write reports. They call them 302s. How many of those reports have survived the scrutiny of this all-hands-on-deck investigation by the Injustice Department? So, when we listen to anything said by the department, including perhaps that search, it sounds very defensive, meaning defensive of the department, of the political players. And it suggests that what this is really about is a search and destroy operation, a classical political cover-up, a stonewalling, like Nixon. I don't know how the tape got erased. This is huge compared to that. Minutes erased. This is so much wreckage among children, literally. In the days of the hypocrisy of this republic, in which our public figures care so much for children, but they can be shot. Care so much for children, but they can be caged as beasts because we believe they're Hispanic. Oh yeah, we care about children. Do we care about those who were the subject of predation, of violation, of treated as if they could be trusted, and instead they compromise these people forever? Do you believe for a minute that any one of these youngsters wasn't hurt by this event? How many suicides has there been because they just couldn't handle it as they got older, reliving consciously, repetitively, this violation of themselves without consent. So what do I see? What I see is the public, citizens and journalists enter a coliseum of discourse to cure the taint that is so evident by what Trump and his goons have done. Highfalutin titles for lowlifes. That's what this is all about. So we have to ourselves compensate for the failure of a system that is not right now lawless and disorderly. And we have to look at the purely political Injustice Department. We don't need a lying Maxwell to give cover to this conspiracy, to cover the misconduct at the highest level of the most vulnerable people. We don't need more of her perjurious testimony. We don't need the former hack lawyer who represented Trump not so well in court, by the way. Remember that? Power is the only thing they know. Power is the only thing they achieve. How do you ask questions of 100 people? Did you know so-and-so? Yeah. You ever do anything? No. Oh, yeah, he did. He once fiddled. This is not an investigation. Does this one man understand what teams of people investigated, scoured to find out what happened here? Find out what Epstein did. Find out why that first prosecutor gave a sweetheart deal to Epstein. How that happened. You want to talk about something? Talk about the corruption. From the day I was interested in being a prosecutor, I had, in my own mind, focused on one issue that told us whether our laws were operating on a level playing field. And I have never seen such a demonstration in my public or private life as what we see right now being played out before us by Republicans and by Democrats. Talking about hearings on the Hill, questions by people who have no idea how to find the truth, not in a public hearing, because all they do is they prance, they posture, they will pretend, if it happens, that Maxwell is a person worth listening to. They'll show her respect. She's scum of the earth. And that's how we act? That's not America. That's not democracy. We fight against these people. We fight against injustice in the department once called the Justice Department. This is a tragic play. And we're at a point in the play. We know the dramatis personae. And we have to ask ourselves, how do we fashion a remedy in a lawless regime that gets at the truth? Trump has done everything he could to compromise the truth, the perception. He's put all sorts of things out there, and the public has still asked the question, what went on here? And so what we have to do is we have to rededicate ourselves to, don't give us bullshit hearings. Don't give us ways you can imposture what really happened here. And so let's see all the files of these FBI agents, what exactly they did. Let's know now those 100 questions that were asked about people in 6 or 9 hours by a person that, as far as we know, was unfamiliar with the file until the day he decided to say, oh, I could call my friend, the lawyer who represents her, and take care of business. Do we want to leave another chapter of tragedy and hurt and hate and the predation of young women to Trump and Epstein? I think not. We've had enough of this bullshit. Let's close down this show. And that means who's in the Oval Office. That means who's on the Hill. And if we can't do it now, do it in bits and pieces in the next election. Any independent, any Democrat who says, oh, let's hear what Maxwell has to say, don't vote for that person. Don't give them a dime. Don't help them at all. Because they're not American. They're not patriots. They don't care about the children. They give them lip service. So, that's what I got to say. And hopefully tomorrow I'll see you again for my Cathedral of Trees. All the best. Bye-bye.